Over time, I guess it all evens out. My last update, I had an impossible lot of stitching, and this update, I don't have nearly as much, but I do have other fun things to share with you. Hey Flosstube, I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. It is Friday, April 12th. March was a train wreck. April is panning out to be just a little bit strange. I did not get that last panel of the blue window done, and I told you I wasn't going to show it to you again for a while, so I didn't pull it out. It's still not stitched, you know. It is in my pile of things that I really need to start working on back stitching, and before I back stitch, I'll fill in those couple hundred stitches. It's fine, it'll happen. What I did stitch this week was that Dollar Tree cross stitch kit. And all of my thoughts about it, about how the tricky part of cross stitch is the diagonal lines and the curves, and the designer of this just drew shapes and left you to figure out themselves. Yeah, that's exactly how it worked out. The colors are pretty. I like the design. I am not stitching the flowers because the yellow lines on that one are just too much for my eyes right now. This was a interesting experience. Now, I did find a video by another YouTuber who is not a cross stitcher who did the same exact kit. She liked it a lot more than I did, maybe because she had different expectations than I did. And instead of making little X's on the Ada like I did because can't I cross stitch, she made larger X's that filled in the outlines. Hers looks a lot better than mine. If I can find that video, I'll link it in the description. She had a totally different take on these than I did. And I talked last time about my banana sock and the black hole I have been in where I was never, ever, ever going to get to the heel. Look, I turned a heel. Now I am on the cuff, and with needles this thin and yarn this fine, I know this cuff is going to take forever. But that is okay because it's at the point where I can just pick it up and do mindless knitting when I have time to fill in, and that's great. That's what these projects are for. So what's next? I said last time that I wasn't going to know what to do with myself after I finished the blue window, and I'm almost done with the blue window and I don't know what to do with myself. Next logical choice is to finish Pink House by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. It's the next logical choice. I will do it. And I've also got fabric and floss set aside for Blueberry Salt Box. So, or The House on Blueberry Buckle Lane. It's got a cuter title than I'm remembering right now. I have a hunch that for my next big project, I should pull out Beacon at Daybreak. I am so close to done with this. If close to done is a loose concept, which with me it sometimes is. Every time I work on these trees, I go, nope, put it back in the project bag. So maybe I should go down into the rocks and waves and across, and that sounded like a perfectly good plan until I looked at the picture and realized that's going to put me in a whole other bunch of flowers. I don't know. This is a possibility. I'm not committing to it at this point. It was my birthday last month. I didn't get to see family because I was sick all month, but I got belated birthday goodies. We knew it was going to be cross stitch kits. This is Dimensions Black and White Hens. I love them. They're chickens. I don't think these are barred rocks like my chickens, but they're chickens and roosters. And yeah, I think one of those is, well, it says hens, but I would almost guess that dude there is a rooster. It does not matter. And I got this one. It is Riolis Night Park. You'd think I'd look at the names before I started filming. I love it. I don't love the dog quite so much. I saw somebody on one of the cross-stitching groups who had done one of the big Dimensions Gold Collection kits and edited out the people. Do you think I could edit out a dog? That sounds really hard. But I could stitch around the dog and tackle that challenge when I came to it. That's a possibility. And then this one is Lily and Lime, which Mom found this and thought I would love it. And she was right. I love the colors. Anything where you get like light reflecting on glass or sections of fruit, and I am jumping up and down volunteering to stitch that. But absolute favorite, and this is a splurge kit. It was a present. Is Morning in a Pine Forest by Luca-S. I have seen quite a few people post that they have stitched this. There was a Riolis version available right when I started getting hooked on Riolis kits, but that was about the time it got retired. And looking at the two pictures, I think this one has more intricate shading and colors. Everything about it. Anchor floss, 18 counts Zweigart. The fabric is gridded and it is huge. This is going to be a challenge. And I might not feel up to a challenge until I'm feeling 100% again. I stopped at the thrift store because it's next to the feed store, and that's what you do. And they are redoing their floors. So for the past, I don't know, 6 months, every time you go in there, part of the store is sectioned off with hanging sheets of clear plastic, and there are power tools going, and it's not a peaceful experience. But the paperbacks were $10, and this, I guess, is a paperback book. And I picked it up, and the cover is nothing special. And I flipped through it, and there's nothing color in here, just old cross-stitch charts. And thank goodness I turned it around and looked at the back, because months, if not years ago, I was in a different thrift store, saw a cross-stitched piece hanging on the wall that was a sampler with a recipe for strawberry shortcake. I did a video. I thought I did a YouTube short, but I can't find it to link to. This is the pattern for that piece that I saw, that I went, I would totally stitch that for my kitchen. Now I can stitch it for my kitchen. And there's also apple crisp. So I'm giddy, and it would have been so easy for me to look at this boring dated cover and not look inside. If you remember my last book review, I commented that looking at the back would have been a mistake because all the ugly projects in the book were on the back. This time all the good ones are on the back. And then I leafed through the whole craft section because, you know, there might be more cross stitch. And I found another Cornhuskers book. This is an old toll painting book from the 1970s. My mom painted several of these. And I found several at thrift stores and estate sales, and I am just enamored with them, and I want to try converting them into embroidery. So finding another one for a dime just made me giddy. This design my mom has stitched twice. One is hanging in her house. I'm not sure where the other one is. Might ask her, maybe it needs to come hang in my house. But I'm just tickled that I found it. Then I call Mom and find out, well, she's still got her original copies of the leaflet, but for a dime, I will definitely take my own. I got a message asking me if I had seen the new Loops and Threads kits at Michael's that look an awful lot like Dimensions Gold Collection kits, and I finally made it to Michael's. Oh boy, those look like Dimensions Gold Collection kits. There are some subtle differences. The lighthouse scene is mirrored. The Aurora cabin has a different name, and there's a campfire in front of it that is not there on the Dimensions Gold Collection kit. The Cherry Blossom one actually is quite different. But just take a look at this thread organizer. Is it me, or does that scream Dimensions to you? This is labeled that it's by Michael's Distribution Center. Dimensions appears nowhere on here, and like I said, they are subtly different images, but boy, it feels like they were trying to look like Gold Collection. And doesn't this have the distinctive look of a Dimensions chart? I don't know anything about these or the licensing of these. The lighthouse and the Aurora cabin, when I looked online, both Loops and Threads and Dimensions are crediting them to the same artists. They are different designs. They're very similar. I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a expert on copyright. But boy, these are weird. I'm not inclined to buy one and try it out. I like the cabin. I honestly like the cabin a little bit better with the campfire, but I think I would, if I was going to stitch that, go with the Dimensions Gold Collection kit. If you're working on one of these, let me know what you think, because I'm curious. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and April is going to be busy, but I think I've got some things lined up that I can just grab and stitch on, and we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe I'll pick up a barely started project and finish it like I did in March.